Yes, in retrospect, I had a very successful corporate career. But at the time, it didn't feel strategic. I was just putting one foot in front of the other. Most of my next roles came about because of life circumstances, family changes, relocations, whatever life handed me next. It certainly wasn't traditional. If anything, I'd call it sort of eclectic. I held executive roles in energy, government, and public health, social services. I led teams, restructured organizations, even served as CEO of a small private company. I spent most of that time adapting to industries, leadership styles, systems, and cultures. It took me a long time to realize that all that adapting didn't necessarily reflect my values. I could do the work and I could do it well, but the misalignment showed up in stress, in defensiveness, in a version of leadership that didn't feel like me. Eventually, I started questioning what success really meant to me. Not the kind that fills up a resume, but the kind that feels right, that feels like you. That's when I knew I didn't just need a new job. I needed to live differently. I needed to make choices that aligned with who I am now, not who I was expected to be. That's such an important question. Yes, and for the longest time, I didn't even notice that it had happened. I was in leadership roles, after all. I had a seat at the table. I was making major corporate decisions. But in retrospect, I wonder, was I really speaking from my voice or from a strong male authority I'd learned to emulate over the decades? Had I adapted without even realizing it? I remember one moment in particular that really stuck with me. I was sitting in a senior colleague's office and he said, "The pendulum has swung too far. It's discrimination against white men now." And without even thinking, I nodded. I agreed. Probably on autopilot, but I remember looking out the window right after and thinking, the hell did I just agree to? That moment woke something up in me. And I realized I had spent so much time adjusting and fitting in and softening my edges just to stay respected, to keep the peace, to frankly survive in those systems. I didn't speak up, not because I didn't have a point of view, but because I'd learned to question whether it would even be welcome. Reclaiming my voice didn't mean becoming louder. It meant trusting that my truth, my perspective was valid and important, even when it made the room, frankly, uncomfortable. I created Bold Balance Blueprint because I wanted to build the program I wish I'd had. Not just something that teaches budgeting or financial strategy, but something that helps you get clear on what matters sort of emotionally and practically. And I'm not just talking about other smart, capable women. I had a math degree, a CPA designation. I built financial strategies for corporations. But when I became a single mom, I suddenly had to manage my own money in a way I never had before. And it was frankly overwhelming. I wasn't afraid of the spreadsheets or the numbers, but I still wasn't making great financial decisions. I remember one moment in particular. I finally had a bit of breathing room in my bank account, and I was still carrying credit card debt. And I actually left that debt sitting there. Not because I didn't understand the impact of interest rates on that balance, but because the cash in my bank account gave me a sense of control, a sense of peace. It wasn't a smart financial decision. It was simply a coping strategy. And that's when it clicked. Changing your financial life isn't just about knowing the numbers. It's about shifting the beliefs, the habits, and the emotional patterns that drive your decisions. If logic alone were enough, the banks would be bankrupt. Bold Balance Blueprint exists because clarity starts with mindset. And from there, we build the numbers in a way that actually supports your life.